Thank you. Sean Ashby, District 50. I am a current teacher myself, just like Coach P here. I'm an educator. That is what I do, is I try to go into a classroom each and every day and educate our youth. The FCAT itself, when it was proposed many years ago, it had a decent novel idea. And there's many different individuals out there that have said, we've got to get rid of the FCAT. Well, fact of the matter is, that as teachers, and I think Coach will probably nod on this, standardized testing is a fact of education, correct? Okay. Now, but the way the FCAT is used is completely different than how it should be used. Now, we are moving into a kind of a new different area. We're moving into end of course exams. There's always going to be standardized testing around. These end of course exams, what's going to happen is that students are going to take these end of course exams. And a bill that was passed this last legislative session, it was voted on by my opponent, and it was voted on by other incumbents that are also in this room, I believe. This bill is going to take away 1/6 of the FTE for every end of course exam that has failed. So in other words, a student goes in at the end of the school year, money has been budgeted for that entire school year. For every exam, and if a kid has 6 periods, he's going to take 6 exams. For every exam that's failed, that district is now going to have to send up over $1,000 to Tallahassee. Think about how devastating this is to a school district. You budget for an entire year, you budget this amount of money. Now what's going to happen is school districts are going to sit down and they're going to have to think to themselves. They're going to have to think, how many of these course exams are going to be failed? How many? And they're going to have to make those expectations. If we're going to have this many, then we have to set that money aside because we're probably going to have to send it back up to Tallahassee. So now that's less money that is going to be used in the school districts.
Does that impact what students you suggest take those courses in the first place?
Well, the main focus of these are your basic ones. So your English and your so on and so forth. And there's some different, and this isn't necessarily the audience to get into the real tight specifics of it. But there's going to be statewide exams that are going to be set up that the teachers are going to have no idea what's really in the exams. They will probably have very little say. And then it's, here, take this exam. Another thing, real quick, back to the FCAT. As you can tell, this is my wheelhouse. Back to the FCAT issue for a second. I teach high school. The student takes the FCAT, 10th grade year, and they fail a certain section of that. Well, now what they need to do is they're going to have to take an accelerated course the next year. When was the last time that you could think of that you heard in a high school that you had shop and home ec and trades and so on and so forth? They aren't out there anymore. And the reasoning is because the money that was used to train individuals, and what we're doing is with these courses, we're giving these individuals life skills where they can go out in the real world and they can get a job as a plumber or an electrician or what have you, or take that and parlay it into an entry-level job earning a decent wage. Well, now what we have to do is that student misses that FCAT score by 1. He has to take an accelerated course. He can't take an elective. Well, since there's students that have to take these courses, then we got to pull these programs away, these programs. And what's going to be next on the block? Your music programs, your art programs. And this is the way that this state is continuing to go in education. We've got to get back to what we need to be doing, and that is producing good quality individuals that can go out in the workforce and get jobs and be productive citizens.